Fortune and glory, kid. Fortune and glory. Welcome, my friend, to WDW Radio Live. I am not Dr. Jones' doll. I am Lou Mongello. Thank you so very much for being here. This is not the first, nor shall it be the last, of the bad Indiana Jones quotes and puns. If you are watching live, I appreciate you being here. Hopefully you brought a drink, a snack, and a friend. And if you're watching on the replay, join us here either on WDW Radio Live, I speak for a living, on Facebook or on YouTube. And tonight it is all about Dr. Jones and Indiana Jones in the Disney parks. I had a great conversation this week with former Imagineer, monstrous Indiana Jones fan, Jason Sorrell, about all things Indy. My original plan, and by original plan I thought about this today, I was like, oh, let's go to Disney's Hollywood Studios. I'll take you to see Dr. Jones, or at least a facsimile thereof, and go to the Indiana Jones Epic Stunt Spectacular, which I haven't been to in years. When's the last time you've been to the Epic Stunt Spectacular? Little did I know that the last show is at 4:30. Then I thought about going to Jock Lindsay's, and I bailed on that idea. So here we are in a not very Dr. Jones environment, but I appreciate all of your... Jeff C. says, cover your heart, Lou's here. Oh, Om Nom Shiba, Om Nom Shiba. Wait, let me move this around. There you go. I swear I've done live before. When is the last time you saw the Indiana Jones Epic Stunt Spectacular? I know for me it's unfortunately been too long, which is why I got excited about it today. And in theory, I would love to have gone and hung out in Hollywood Studios and had a little meal, a little nosh, a little snack, a drink, and yet, unfortunately, I had to come back. Again, as always, I'm spinning a lot of plates. I got some stuff to tonight for tomorrow morning, so, but it's all good. It is all good. Plus, you may be rushing after the show, or maybe you're not here because you are rushing, because you either want to watch Ironheart or The Bear, both on the Disney Plus / Hulu. The Bear, I think all episodes, 10 episodes dropped tonight. Ironheart dropped relatively quietly, I think, a couple of days ago. Before we get into Indy, tell me about Ironheart. Is Ironheart on your radar? Is it something, or have you seen it? Let me know. Tom Swanson, we were just there in April. Heather says she hasn't seen the show since 2003. I really want to fix this. Again, I'm playing around with some new technology, which I also owe. Actually, Jeff C. owes me because he made me buy all this stuff, but it's actually pretty cool. He goes every time. It's probably been... The last time I was there was some sort of event. And I mean, it's got to be at least 7 years ago. Jocks would have been so fun. Well, whoa, what in good Lord is going on with these things tonight? Let's see. I probably did something wrong. It's fine. If only there was anybody would have suggested going to Jocks tonight, and maybe would have picked me up and drove me there and carried me in and out of Jocks. I would have gone. Kelly says from hot north. It sounds like the whole country is just hot, like everybody is on fire. You can interpret that however way you want, but the heat wave here in Florida is not unique to the Sunshine State. Randall says several trips ago, probably 2023. Does the show still hold up? Does Indy still hold up? I think it does, and I want to go back and see it. I was almost tempted to watch a video in preparation for this week's podcast, but I said, no, I want to go back. I want to see it with my own eyes. And my plan, again, was tonight, get there early, get a seat right up in front. I still, by the way, Baymax, now I have somebody to talk to. I have never been chosen. I've never been the Grand Marshal of Parade. I've never been that guy. I've certainly never been chosen to do Indiana Jones Epic Stunt. I'm not sad or bitter, but since you're the only one who will listen, I will tell you. Lindsay Dollinger, way too long since I've seen you. I hardly recognize you. You know, it's so funny that, like, I wear a shirt that is not black or dark blue or gray. And it's like, people are like, who are you? And what have you done with Lou? I'm very much outside my comfort zone, but thank you for the words of encouragement. So Lindsay said I look spiffy. So, yeah. It's I'm trying. I'm trying to expand. I even have some green shirts. It's wild. Not a lot of print shirts, but I try and keep it simple. So probably too hot for the out. I just don't know. Do they not do it at night? Melissa says she is joining from a very hot Ohio. I think Florida misplaced its weather. Yeah, and it's funny because I'm getting ready to travel. I've been traveling a lot. I know my busy travel season, and it's sort of been turned up to 11, like the heat. And as I'm looking forward to all the places that I'm going, hoping for some sort of like weather respite, none seems to be, because everywhere I go seems to be hotter than the next place. So if you're in the parks in December, Indiana Jones will be there. By that I mean my son William, Indiana. Ethan, please tell me that you didn't name the dog Indiana. You named your son's middle name Indiana after the one and only Dr. Jones. It's been too long. I missed a scene from Great Movie Ride. I do as well. I did actually go, and if you are a member of the WWO Nation, it'll probably appear in your inbox. First of all, if you're a member of the Nation, by the way, thank you very much for helping to support the show, being a member, everything to you. But this month's scavenger hunt, I know it's been a couple since I've gotten one out. This month's scavenger hunt, surprise, surprise, is going to be from one Jock Lindsay's Hangar Bar. It is a treasure trove of incredible details and secrets and tributes, not just to the Indiana Jones series of films, and by series of films, I mean the original trilogy and those other two abominations, but there are other Easter eggs in there to Adventurers Club, to, I don't want to give too much away because then I'm going to tell you where it is, but I had a lot of fun doing this. I should have gone there to eat. We should have just done the show from there tonight, but maybe next week. Maybe next week we'll do it. We'll do the show. Maybe I'll grab a couple of friends or like hobos and see if anybody wants to join me in at Jock Lindsay's next week. We'll sit outside or in the Bell. It'll be nice. Thomas Swan says I was picked for Indy as part of the show in 2006. My younger daughter was so upset because she thought Daddy wasn't coming back. I could see that. Last time I was at the Spectacular, my mom ended up on stage. Please, Lisa Nora Glassner. I would pay good money to see that. Christmas time, New Year's Eve, just fire that up on the TV. To see your mother on stage at Indiana Jones would be a spectacular in its own right. So, some of the things to watch. A local restaurant, Gordon's Ramley on night 2. Heather says, I'm looking forward to Ironheart. Gary says, Iron what? I have to say, we talked a little bit about this on the Nation call the other night. Thank you to everybody who was there. I think the marketing for Ironheart has been, I don't want to say abysmal. I want to say invisible. I haven't seen a lot of it. And I don't know if I'm just missing it, if it's from a lack of confidence in it, if I'm not the target demographic, which I think I am because I love Marvel stuff. I don't find myself like, remember the good old days when something dropped either in the theater or on Disney Plus, and we were all there, like the night it happened, either with our tickets in hand or sitting on our couches, either to binge all the episodes or just catch that first one or two. I haven't felt that way since, other than Daredevil, and since Daredevil. And, Ironheart, I'll sort of get to it when I get to it. I think I'm more excited to see the Bear than I am to see, again, Bear, not necessarily family friendly, but very well done show. From an acting, storytelling, cinematography is fantastic. So my son watched the first season, like he binged it back to back. Like he watched it once and then just watched the whole thing all over again. So let me see. William says, I live off Reams. Let me know and I'll carry you. I would never live that down, William, but it is good to know that I have at least anybody who's willing to go to Jock Lindsay's with me. I would have been your Jock's transportation and Sherpa. If you would have paid for the food and beverages, now maybe you're talking. Now, like, because the last time we were there, actually, at least last time I was there was with Lisa and Kenneth and I think somebody else. We ordered like everything off the menu, which I know continues to change, and it was spectacular. Maybe I need to actually go back. I don't normally do live restaurant reviews twice, but the menu is completely different. So maybe this is it. Maybe I grab a couple of friends or the aforementioned hobos and go do as long as we're in the Indiana Jones mode, do a review. So let me ask you this, because the show, you might be like, why is Lou doing Indiana Jones sort of just out of nowhere? Well, it was the 30th anniversary of the Disneyland attraction not too long ago, which is what sort of gave Jason and I the idea to do it. But is Indiana Jones still interesting, relevant, fun? Like I did just watch all the movies again, either on planes or just in background and in preparation a little bit for the show. And I found myself like, this is what I mean. Indiana Jones is one of those movies that still puts a smile on my face. I still get excited. Like I rewind because I want to watch scenes again. I still pick up things that, even though I've seen Raiders 100 times, I still pick up little nuances from it. I don't find myself doing that with Marvel movies the same way. And I don't do that with a lot of current and recent movies. We had a whole conversation about Elio on the Nation Call the other night, and I think that's speaking, massive volumes about the interest or potentially lack thereof of it. But anyway, back to Jock Lindsay's and Indiana Jones. Angela says we hit 100 degrees yesterday in Rhode Island. I've never seen that number here. It's it sounds like it's the temperature in Bangkok Palace up there, but still good. Not an every trip must do. I will tell you though, Indy still packs them in. It is still packs them in. Michael says we're there in May. It's totally worth it. I usually go to the studios later on the day after the last show. I think I need to make a point of sort of redoing my Indiana Jones rounds. Not short rounds, but rounds. Maybe that's what I'll do. Maybe the next meet of the month will be at Disney's Hollywood Studios, and we'll all go see Indiana Jones together. And then I'll get a couple of hobos and go and do a live, I don't know why I keep using the word hobo, but we'll do a live restaurant review part 2 of, because I did go there the other day just to sort of, I had to verify a couple of things because some of the photos I had were old. I may have snacked on one or two things. The food there is so good. So, didn't they quit getting people from the audience since COVID? I know right after COVID they did, but I think, somebody correct me, don't they pull people from the audience once again? I would be very disappointed if they didn't. Oh no, they don't pull members from the audience up anymore. Are you telling that my window of opportunity, much like with that girl I liked in high school, that window of opportunity, there's no girl in high school. I went to an all-boys school. Did my window of opportunity at Indiana Jones close? Is my chance to participate in that show that I used to love going to so much just history like the Aztecs? Bummer. That's what I mean. Like, my father used to say, eat your macaroni while it's hot. Don't wait for the opportunity because it might not always be there. Jeremy Buck, it is good to see you. Molly says, I'm finally home to watch. Thank you very much for being here, Molly. I appreciate it. And where is home for you? Where is home again? Since we are wearing blue, I thought it was on the wrong show or replay. He just called me Disney Smurf. And yet I invite Jeff to come and speak at Momentum every single year. Now he's going to say that I don't pay him, but it's fine. And yet these are the people that I call my friends. He just called me a Disney Smurf. I mean, I guess it's better than being called Gargamel, so it doesn't matter. Indiana Jones will always have a special place in my heart because of my grandfather. Loved the stunt show, to the movies, to the music, to the new video. So we were talking about the new video game, too. Dylan, what is your thoughts on the video game? Because some folks in the Nation call were chatting about this the other night. Some folks loved it. Some thought it was a little boring, just not very well paced. I'd be really curious to play it because I don't. One, let's pretend that I actually find time to play my PlayStation. I love first-person shooters. Like that's that's my video game genre that I enjoy the most. But I heard it was a little sloggy in terms of pacing. But I would like to. Jim says I still need my Nation sticker. Jim, you don't have a Nation sticker? I am the worst. We'll just leave it at that. I am the worst. Period. I'm also the worst friend. Jim, we have to get. First of all, I've owed you coffee for like 5 years, and breakfast and lunch and dinner. One, in between my travels, let's make that happen. And please remind me, and I will bring you multiple stickers. I promise. Kyle says, "Wait, are the Nation stickers?" I never wait. No, wait. Now, now everybody's coming out of the woodwork. If you are a member of the Nation family and you did not get a, I don't have it here. If you did not get a sticker, please email me and I will make sure that you get one or more than one. Who is a Josh Gates? I like Josh Gates. I could hang with Josh Gates. I like Expedition. What is it? Expedition Unknown, Adventurous Expeditions. I don't know. There's so many shows like that it takes me weeks to get through an episode because I watch them as I fall asleep at night. But I like Josh Gates. Sue Passower from MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. I have been on stage. It was so much fun. So I've been on the stage. So how long ago was it? So I've been on the stage, but for special events, not for actually the Indy show, which I would love. God, I'm really sad now that I didn't get the chance to do that. Love the Indy who played the custodian at Indiana Jones Stunt Show in 95. She was amazing, says Karen. I'm quickly catching up. Josh Gates fan. Let me catch up here. So it got 4.3 out of 10 reviews. Only will see it because of Anthony Ramos. Are you talking about Ironheart? Because I did see that IMDb the night that it dropped. Look, you can call it review bombing, or you can call it just people giving. It was not the reviews were not kind at all. So the only reason why I knew Ironheart was because Roku had an ad pop up. Yeah, I think the marketing was not very well done, and I don't know if that was the fault of whoever they hired to do it or lack of confidence in it. I'm not quite sure, but either way, it's very surprising that we have not seen more about Ironheart. So the stars of Ironheart have been several. Yeah, I haven't been watching. So maybe they are. Yeah, but why are we like? I haven't seen anything on social. A lot of times, like I'll get screeners ahead of time. Like I didn't get any screeners for it. I didn't get any sort of like press. Not that I'm the end all be all, but I'm like I get them for a lot of other things. So I'm surprised that I didn't get them for this. Angela says we're starting the bear from the beginning again. This time with a certain 15-year-old. Yeah, my kids love the bear. So, and it's very well done. Like I'm not going to binge the entire show tonight, but I'll try and see if I can catch an episode or two. Deborah Rickon says I still need my Nation keychain. So, if you are a member of the Nation and you didn't get like your welcome package or something, please reach out. Like I'm sad that you didn't reach out and let me know already, but I will make sure that gets rectified for you, and I will be sure to send you anything that you are missing. It's Harrison Ford. He is like the James Dean of his time. Yeah, I mean, Harrison Ford has played some of the most iconic characters in probably the last, and I hate to say it, like 4 decades. Whether it's Jack Ryan, whether it's Indiana Jones, whether it's Han Solo, or so many of his other roles. The only thing is, I hear he's not the nicest guy in real life, and that makes me sad. And I try and like put that out of my head. I have never met him, so I can't say that that's true or not. But he comes across a little like, I don't know. Like he doesn't. I like actors and actresses who embrace the fact that they are beloved for being that character, and remember that every single fan that wants an autograph, a picture, a hug, a high five, or something, like that's the reason why they got there. And I think too often actors and celebrities and athletes oftentimes forget that, and you know, you get too big too fast, and that's like Jeff C. I've been trying to get an autograph from Jeff C. for years, and he just cannot be bothered. If I don't sort of pay to get behind the golden velvet rope, um, I can't even get close to Jeff. So I completely understand. But I think Indiana Jones is timeless. It is generational. I've loved the fact that I was able to enjoy it with my dad, with my brother, and now with my son. And because of the show this week, I've had it on in the background. I'm like, these movies, for as old as they are, again, I'm talking about the original trilogy, not the other two, which have their own set of issues. Dial of Destiny is long. Whew. That is a long slog. But I do love the first three. Ryan Donahoe, huge Star Wars, and I know Indy fan. I think the world building, the adventure, the idea of going to a movie, having fun is no better encapsulated than Indiana Jones. I think it lives on in the parks and animated shows since Harrison is 4 years old. But the sense of adventure is embodied by Indy better than any other franchise. Coming from a huge Star Wars fan, I dig that, Ryan, and I appreciate that. And I know that I still owe you a meal. Did we say we're going to do a review of Docking Bay 7? Which I also hear that the menu at Docking Bay 7, the food in Docking Bay 7 has gotten much better. So that's why I waited. And as soon as we're in between my travels, we will make that happen. I love that Doc Ock was in Raiders. Yeah, one of his early roles. Karen will watch anything with Harrison Ford. Don't make it weird. Always pull the rope near the stunt show. Remember when they had the Dial of Destiny pop-up shop in the little Indiana Jones adventure out? Actually, at one point, that entire outpost was like all Indiana Jones merchandise. And then it was closed for a while, and then they did the Dial of Destiny pop-up shop. They also did a little Dial of Destiny like mini pop-up at Jock Lindsay's. Like they had a special menu, special drinks. I think I have like coasters. I also have they gave me like an Indiana Jones hat, which I think has Mickey ears on it, which is why I don't wear my Indiana Jones hat with Mickey ears. Not a big hat guy either. So, let me see. Andrew Klein says, good episode idea. Best crowd participation experiences. Best crowd participation. So you get a hoop-de-doo, Indiana Jones. Best crowd participation experiences. I would have said Adventurers Club. I'd have to think about that. What are the other crowd participation experiences in the parks, Andrew? Maybe post that in the clubhouse and see how people respond. Let's see. Last time they did not pull anyway. Wow, that's sad. That's sad. All right, stop telling me that, because I'm disappointed that I lost my opportunity. And I wonder how that changed the dynamic of the show, because it was such an integral part of the overall experience, not just for the people that were picked, but for the people who were in the audience watching. Ryan Donahoe. I like the shirt, Lou. Maybe a deeper V in the neck would be better. Oh, wait, is this, anyway, am I showing too much skin for Ryan? Is that what he's really trying to say? Button up, Mongello. Yeah. Is that better? I can never tell if my friends are being like mean or sarcastic or trying to be funny. And I'm not sure if that's my own deficiency or theirs. So, let me see. So Jeremy says the new video game is absolutely fantastic. Definitely a slower pace, but very immersive. Had me exploring every corner. So Jeremy, is it like an open world game like Far Cry? So like Far Cry is one of, if not my all-time favorite video games, like console video games, because I love that open world playability and just being able to wander Again, I don't really have a lot of time to play video games, but because I promised my son I would, and there's a game called Ghosts of Tsushima, which I love because it's set in feudal Japan and is an open world game. It's a third person, which I don't love, but it's beautiful, and I love the representation of the countryside in that time period and the sword play and things like that. Really, really well done, and I got it on sale for like $10 or something. So Gary says I truly enjoyed the game as well. Brett says, do I take people to breakfast, lunch, and dinner? I mean, I don't get out of the house as often as you probably think, but yes, under the right circumstances, I certainly would. Let me quickly scroll down and try and catch up. Oh, I forgot about that. My brother and I got to do the old Water Effects Tank Show, the old backstage tour in 1994. God, I love that. And the backstage tour, when that first opened, that was, if you did the whole thing, because it was like a walking tour and a tram tour, it was like a 2.5 hour experience, which was great because there wasn't a lot of stuff going on at the Disney and Gem Studios at the time. But, oh God, another person with the stickers. Now I feel bad. Like, now I feel, why are so many people not getting or have their stickers, or what did I miss along the way? If you are a nation member, if you are and I think stickers are at the silver level and above. If you're a silver, bronze, I don't know, one of them, whatever. I think it's like the $10 level, and you did not get your welcome package, please reach out and let me know, and I will take care of it as quickly as I can. Chris says I really like Ironheart. I'm sure it's great. I just don't have, like, they haven't sort of teased me to lead me into it to get me interested in watching. So, and watch Ford is Shrinking, but mostly Disney. Sean says I still love the Indy show. I recently read they got rid of the audience participation due to a minor accident, and they tried to sue. Again, lawyers, they ruin everything, Sean, which is why I continue to be a recovering and not an actual attorney. Harrison Ford is cranky. He is cranky face. Like, like, even when he's doing press, he seems like he doesn't want to be there. And I know a couple of folks who know him from the Star Wars side of thing, and they kind of said the same thing. Like, when he does these things, it's almost reluctantly. I saw something, I think it was like from a Star Wars Celebration page, that he will sign, I guess he doesn't sign a lot of stuff, but if you send them to this company, I guess it's doing it for him, you could send certain things. I mean, it's ridiculous amounts of money. I'm not a big autograph hound, but I guess if you are, and people were freaking out that he's going to start signing stuff again. So, Jeff, that velvet rope was an absolute inside joke about that event. Wait a second. Wait a minute. Is this the Wizard of Kroz? Is this really the one and only Brian Crosby, ladies and gentlemen? Brian Crosby, guest on the show, incredibly talented artist, creator, Imagineer, inventor, raconteur. The list goes on and on. Brian, I am coming out to California in a few weeks. I'd love to try and get together if you are there when I am there. Let's keep in touch. I will message you. Drinks on me at But Mostly Disney next time we meet. So Jeff's buying drinks for But Mostly Disney, not me. Not a single, not one. Although I think you did buy me a drink last time we were together. So, we did say that next time you're not in Bangladesh, we should go to Docking Bay. Bangladesh is not on my radar. I'll be in California a couple of times, and a couple other things happening that I'm not ready to share yet, but there's all good stuff ahead. But we will make time. Like, dude, ping me, shoot me an email or something, and I promise we'll make it happen. The clock that Indy got on his retirement party is now in list and found at Jocks. I did. So I did. Well, now that I'm giving away the scavenger hunt answer, yeah. So if you go to the Lost and Found cage, which sits in between the men's and women's restroom at Jock Lindsay's, it is a treasure trove of like large and small Easter eggs. But you need to go back like time and time again, because not only will things move, but things will be added. So Indy's clock is there. There's a passport in there. There's keys in there. There are playing cards in there. There's a map in there. There's a hat in there. There's a lot in the Lost and Found that you have to look. So I think the Indiana Jones, I think the Jock Lindsay's scavenger hunt that I'm hopefully going to finish tonight or tomorrow for the nation, I think there's like 55, 60. It's probably one of the longer ones, which is interesting because it's not an attraction. It's not this huge show building, but there's so many great little Easter eggs in there. God, now I'm so mad that I didn't go tonight. Those meatballs, and they've got these deviled eggs like on a plane that has like hot honey chicken on it. What's my schedule like tomorrow? What am I doing tomorrow night? I don't know why I'm checking my calendar while I'm on the call with you, but that's how excited I would be. Oh, I might be able to make that happen. All right, we'll see. Anyway, do I think Indy will create spin-offs of Indy like they did Star Wars? So, Jason, that's a great question. I think the ending of Dial of Destiny, I think you could interpret that a couple of different ways. Is it a literal and figurative hanging up of the hat at the end, saying that, you know, Indy's hat has been hung up and this is it in terms of his stories? Or is the hat being passed on to someone else? Do we see another, obviously not Indiana Jones, but do we find somebody related to Indy, inspired by Indy, sort of picking up the Indy mantle? Or is there only one Indiana Jones? And obviously Harrison Ford, you know, has waved goodbye to the role for a variety of reasons. Does that mark the end? Or do they try and do something where it's another young Indiana Jones series? Do they fill in some of those gaps, maybe some of those gap years in between the young Indiana Jones series and then the Indiana Jones that we met in Raiders of the Lost Ark? I certainly think that there is a market and an interest for it, but it has to be done right, because like Star Wars, you don't want to take something good and just release junk and then beat it to death, and then you end up where we are now. I think for a lot of people in terms of Star Wars, that it was too much, not great, and then it sort of leaves a little bit of a sour taste in your mouth. I feel that way about Crystal Skull and Dial of Destiny. I think the premises, the premises, each had a great premise, but execution was not necessarily, did not live up to the Indiana Jones name. So, let me see. So, Jeremy, when I was a kid, I didn't get out a lot. Didn't have a lot of friends. Played a lot of video games as a kid. It's why I keep wanting to do like my retro, like I want to do like a retro podcast, but I just don't have, like I have another podcast that I'm starting that is not retro, but I was like, you know, my Tandy TRS-80, my Apple IIe, my Apple IIc computer, my first computer, my Atari 2600, Intellivision, ColecoVision, Vectrex. I wasn't a big Nintendo guy, sort of skipped over that, but then PC gaming for a long time. Obviously, you know, as I got older in age, not necessarily older in terms of maturity, you know, I didn't get to play a lot of video games in law school, but man, I put my time in on Castle Wolfenstein and Doom and Hexen and a lot of those games. And now I have the interest, I just don't have the time. So there have been times over the past few years that I've sort of forced myself, or been forced to, mostly by my son, to be like, dude, you got to get away from the computer, leave one screen for another, and just clear my head, which is why I like first-person shooters. Just being able to sort of go through. I don't necessarily need to do a linear game that I have to sort of complete. I want to just go and just kind of do my thing and wander around. It's why I like the Far Cry series so much, because there are missions and there is a chronology to go through to get to the quote unquote end. But just because it's the end of the story doesn't mean it's the end of the game. There's still a lot of playability to it. But time, like I know for all of us, is our, at least for me, time is my biggest enemy. Different story for a different game. So Sean says Ghost of Tsushima is the best. New comes out next year. I still got to get through this one, Sean. I've only probably played for maybe 5 hours total, but I love it. Like, I really like, very, very, very well done. So let me see. Betsy says, I love the backstage tour. I missed the backstage tour. It was really one of my favorite parts of the studios. Assassin's Creed Shadows is set in Japan. I'd probably like it. I will add it to the list, Jeff. I got to go do Ghost of Tsushima. There's some other game I downloaded. Like, I got it on sale, and I still haven't even like fired it up to play. I like to check out Indy, but I'm working on a new Lou. I'm working on a new and improved Lou that's going to also buy himself, and not buy is the wrong word. I'm trying to build in a little bit more space. Of course, there's other like work stuff I want to fill it with. Don't even, whatever. It's fine. They still bring people up on stage on Hoop-de-Doo. They do, Jason. At least the last time I was there, which was post-COVID. So, is it more, like Lisa said? Is it a safety liability as opposed to, obviously any of the the COVID issues? Probably. That must be it. Again, lawyers and litigators just ruins everything. So Lou opens up a strange box in his garage, and there's all the Nation stickers. I have Nation stickers, and I have like Nation, like there's stickers. I have cool new vinyl stickers. I have keychains. I have a bunch of stuff downstairs. So yeah, I'm sure emails are. Oh yes, you are absolutely emailing me, and I promise I will get to them. I will get those out as quickly as possible. I promise. I'm very much a one-man band over here, so please be patient. So, oh God, Maureen, Superstar Television. Now we're going like way back, like 1989 version of the Disney MGM studios, where there was a lot like that. I miss, as we start going through this sort of list and my inability to sort of think of things now, I do miss the audience participation aspect of it. So, Brian, to sound good, see you then. I expect my autograph. Listen, I owe you one because you can't see it, but there's a Spider-Man that you drew for me years ago that holds a place of honor on my wall because it is a Brian Crosby original. Or maybe it's a photocopy. It might have been a photocopy. You might have just like ran off a bunch of them at like Kinko's. It's fine. It still holds a place of honor on my wall. So, Joe's Brick Line says, hey, I need a cozy cone. I am always in need of a cozy cone. It is actually one of the things I'm most excited for. So I'm doing 2 Disneyland and Southern California Adventures by Disney next month. The first one starts July 6th. I go back again on the 26th. And the Adventures by Disney, you go to so many incredible places and see and do amazing things and have amazing meals. I'm not going to lie that the cozy cone is very, very high on my list of, things I'm excited for. In addition, because I'm like in the Indiana Jones mode, is going back on Indy. Especially now that the Tokyo version is fresh in my mind, so I can sort of compare and contrast the two. Amy says, Marvel and Star Wars, wait a minute, Marvel and Star Wars need to stop Disney Plus shows. I don't know if they need to stop them, Amy. I think, and Kevin Feige, has said this, that they're going to pull back. Less is more, less is better. I think quality will always win out, and I think quality over quantity is more important. I would rather wait longer for something better than just have filler stuff that I don't love. I think it's part of the reason why I got a little bit, I don't want to say turned off, but I lost a little bit of interest in Star Wars because I didn't think that some of the stuff that was coming out rose to the level of that trilogy that was so impactful on my life. And even as I got older, the Marvel stuff the same way. I mean, the Marvel stuff has had a huge, huge impact on me. I mean, like, look around, right? I'm like, you know, I'm surrounded by Marvel and, you know, a little bit of Star Wars stuff. So I love I love Marvel. Like, I love Star Wars. And I think we as fans, we just want, you know, the best of the best. It's part of the reason why I love Brian Crosby, because that's what he does. He's like King Midas because everything Brian touches turns to gold. So, Brian, I do need to get out to like Hong Kong and some of the other overseas parks and see some of the stuff that I have not seen yet. So, I love Jock's pretzel and charcuterie board. They have fried rice balls. They've got amazing meatballs, and they've got what's the other thing I just had the other day? Something else the sliders are really good. Yeah, I need to see if I can get there somehow tomorrow or next week before I start travel and do a full like review and full spread. I'll need to find 3 or 4 folks to come with me. Let me catch up. I know I'm way behind on, but mostly I played Zork. I remember Zork because Zork was a text-based video game that came on 8 5.25-inch floppy disks that were not just like they were two-sided, which was like a big thing at one point. Kids, you can Google what a floppy disk was, but it was this massive, relatively speaking, text-based game. I played Zork a little bit, not a lot, but my video games were a quarter and at the mall. Brett, I kid you not, I still remember the very first time I played Space Invaders. And it was at the Route 1 flea market where my parents had an antique store. Like they had a booth. And so I spent many, many a weekend there. And I remember, this is so dumb, the stupid things I remember. I remember the first time I saw Space Invaders. It literally, there was a pickle stand. Like again, it's a flea market. There was a pickle stand. And like in the back of the thing, there was like a couple of pinball machines. And all of a sudden there was this game called Space Invaders. And I was just mesmerized. I was a big, big like arcade nerd when I was a kid. I miss like if there was a retro arcade around here, I know that there's like a bar, but called Player One. But if there was like a retro arcade, I'd go in a heartbeat. I spent many a lonely weekend in the arcade by myself. We're friends. I can. This is like a therapy session for me. Assuming the video games are a little bit more complicated, that, Sue, is how we know that we're getting old. When you fire up a video game and they hand you a controller and you're like, what do I do? Like, how do I... There was something elegant in the simplicity of the Atari 2600 controller. A single joystick, a single button, wired to the video game system. I still have mine. And maybe for an upcoming show, I'll take it out of the garage. Because I have my original 2600 with the TV. You used to have to, there was an adapter. I'm showing you how old I am. There was an adapter, this little silver box that had a slider, and it would be like TV or video. And you had to screw it into 2 screws in the back of your TV and connect the other side to your Atari, put it on channel 3, and then flip the switch. I literally can't plug my Atari into my TV because it's just no way for it to communicate. And I know that they sell like new retro versions of the 2600, but it was very much a different time. And then they came out, when Pong came out, they came out with a little like twisty thing, again with a single red button on the side. The games weren't pretty, but man, I spent a lot of time in my basement. Is it weird that Temple of Doom was my favorite as a kid? I used to take my little sisters, watch it on repeat, and just say they give me so much grief for it. So I don't think it's weird. I think Temple of Doom is an interesting entry into the Indiana Jones series because it was so dark. And Lucas and Spielberg have talked about the multitude of reasons why it was dark. One of which was in terms of a movie that they wanted to make that was a little bit different than Raiders. Spielberg was going through, Lucas was going through personal things in their lives that, fortunately, unfortunately, made that movie darker. I still think it's super watchable. I don't. If I was to put the original trilogy in order, it's funny. My son thinks Last Crusade. He puts Last Crusade first, Raiders second, and then Temple of Doom third. I still think, and I know I'm an origin story. Like, I still think I would put Raiders first. God, but the dynamic between Sean Connery and Harrison Ford is so good, and it's such another layer to it that is not sort of just, the typical, hero and Marion in distress. My daughter, by the way, was not named after Marion Ravenwood. She was named after Marion, my grandmother, but she doesn't need to know that. I'll just tell her she was named after a movie. I have played Call of Duty, but Caleb, I'm not a deathmatch kind of guy. I'm a story driven, so I don't love the multiplayer. I prefer to play things just on my own. Plus, like, I enter those multiplayer matches and I get smoked in like 2 seconds from like some 9-year-old kid in Snoqualmie, Washington, who's been playing 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So I don't think pinball counts as a video game. Raiders versus Last Crusade. I think Raiders is better. It's close. I could make an argument for both, and I can quote both pretty accurately. God, I do love the Holy Grail story though too. No, listen, come on, man. The first time you saw when they opened up the Ark and the face melting and all that, they're close. They're close. Dragon's Lair. Darren, my brother, played Dragon's Lair like a crazy person. Because you lose garage as the room of requirement. I don't even know what the room of requirement is. I thought they were going to say that my garage was going to be like the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark. It is a little bit. There's boxes in there I haven't seen or opened up in years. So I like that John still thinks of this. Listen, you guys will always be box people, but I had to change it because I think Clubhouse was a more appropriate term, and I think new people coming in had no idea what box people was. So, but deep down in my heart, you'll always be box people. And when I give presentations, and I talk about building community and live video and stuff, I always bring up the logo of the box people. So the box people live on. So Sean says Raiders, Last Crusade, Dial of Destiny has 3. I can't believe those words came out of my mouth. Dial of Destiny had promise. Dial of Destiny is a bit of a slot. Like, I think Dial of Destiny could have been cut down by like 45 minutes, and it would have been a much better movie. So, and Crystal Skull, if you just get rid of like Shia LaBeouf, yeah, I mean, that was a big. Crystal Skull had great potential too, because I love the mythology of the Crystal Skulls, and all my sort of weird thoughts about aliens and all kind of stuff too. But I think it could have been done better. So, let's see. It's not an attraction. Yeah, Bob says, "Oh, that's a great." Yeah. Well, I mean, Hoop-de-Doo is not an attraction either, but in terms of participation, nobody gets a crowd more involved than Yeehaw Bob, who's also, by the way, the nicest guy on the planet. So, Russell says, I couldn't agree more where Star Wars went. I remember waiting in line for the original life-changing event. I do as well, and I haven't felt, that's the word, right? I haven't felt, Star Wars hasn't made me feel. I think that's what we as Disney fans, I think that's what separates us from theme parks that are built down the street. It's the way that these places, these movies, these characters, the music makes us feel. And I haven't felt that way coming out of a certainly a Star Wars and even some of the Marvel movies, sadly, in a long, long time. So, I need to go to Ohio for Quaker Steak wings and Swenson's cheeseburgers. Jason, I don't know what either of those things are, but you had me at wings and cheeseburgers. You helped me find like a speaking gig out there, so I could sort of double dip and make it. I'll go in a heartbeat. So, Betsy says I have a Missile Command game in your house. Shut up. As if I couldn't like bet. As if I couldn't like you anymore. You have Missile Command in your house. I love that. I was very like, again, I was, my dad was a big kid too, so we had a pinball machine called, it was an old Gottlieb machine called Magic Carpet, which was an analog machine, very, very early pinball machine. And then we had a Superman pinball machine, which I remember there was like a limited edition. It was only like 2,500 of them that were ever made. And then we had Centipede, and we had like a Centipede like mini stand up, and we had a tabletop, like a sit down version of Arkanoid. So yeah, I played one. I completely forgot about this. One of my again, shocker. This is not the body of an athlete. So as a kid, I tried sports. I wasn't great at sports. Video games I was fine at. I remember like my only claim to fame, the thing that, and I haven't thought about this in, okay, maybe it's like 4 decades. There was one moment that I had, at least according to a magazine, I had the world record in Zaxxon. Like I don't know, I had to like take a picture of it and send it to him from Harrah's Casino in Atlantic City. And they put my little it was my initials. It was like LAM. And I had like the world record in Zaxxon. The world record in like Atlantic City. But as a kid, that was a big deal for me. I mentioned not getting out much, right? And not having a lot. Okay, I just wanted to sort of be sure. So, yeah, the Don Bluth Dragon's Lair animation in a video game was it was groundbreaking at that. And there was another one afterward. It was Space Ace. It was Dragon's Lair and then Space Ace. Wait a minute. It's Paulette Gordon Denoto. Tony and I played Space Invaders for hours and hours, such a step up from our other favorite, which was Pong. Paulette, if I couldn't love you... No, wait, can I make the little hearty things? There you go. If I couldn't love Paulette enough, here you are coming in and telling me that you were a big video game fan as a kid. This Christmas, we're going to get together. We're going to get like a retro video game system and play some of those old video games. So everybody else can go and eat and drink and do whatever they're doing. We'll play retro video games together. Let me see. My youth was the game from Pixels. Temple of Doom was the first one I watched, and the one I always think of when I watch Indy. And I think, Casey, that's it. I think it's whether it's Indiana Jones, whether it's Star Wars, whether it's a video game, it's the one that impacted you. It's the one that you grew up with. It's the one that you started with. That is the one that is meaningful. Kevin Lively. It is a parade of good, talented Imagineers, former Imagineers, Disney, Marvel royalty. Kevin Lively says Last Crusade is the best Father's Day movie, even better than Father's Day with Billy Crystal and Robin Williams. All 4, like Mount Rushmore, right? Mount Rushmore of actors. Have I never seen Father's Day with Billy Crystal and Robin Williams? And is Last Crusade the best Father's Day? I think we watched it. I think, you know what? You might be right, Kevin. I think, you know what? Because there's, and you know what's funny? There's a scene from that sticks out to me. And it's a throwaway moment, but it's when they're on, my God, the Hindenburg thing, when they're on the big floaty ship thing, whose name is escaping, the dirigible, and he's sitting down and he's talking to Harrison Ford's talking to Sean Connery and saying, after his mom died, after Sean Connery's wife died, they never really talked. Sean Connery was more interested in people that have been dead for hundreds of years than the person who was sitting right in front of him. And he's like, we never talked. And Sean Connery closes the book and he's like, okay, what do you want to talk about? And he just sort of like looks at him and he like sheepishly and almost embarrassingly laughs because he didn't even know like what to talk to his dad about. And like that was such a sad and profound moment. And it's when they started talking about archaeology that they both sort of perked up. Like that was the one commonality that they had. And obviously as the movie goes on and then at the end, you know, all that changes, the relationship changes. But yeah, for some reason that sort of stuck out. Like I couldn't imagine as well the father or a son having that awkward interaction that you don't know what to say to the other person. So if you are a dad and you have a son, or if you are a son and your dad is still around, just run away from your computer and go hug him right now, or give him a call and tell him that you love him. It's cool to tell your dad that you love him. So, all right, let me catch up here before I get all stupid and weepy. Let's see. Indy, why is the floor moving? Snakes, asps, very dangerous. You go first. Last Crusade all day. Interesting. There's a lot of people who find Last Crusade to be, their opinion, the best of. Last Crusade can it be argued that it's the most quote unquote complete of all the movies in the original trilogy in terms of the boxes that it ticks? Maybe. You could make that argument. But I think sometimes the one that is the first has just such a, like there's so many moments from Raiders of the Lost Ark that you can point to that still hold up to this day. So, the penitent man shall pass. A penitent man is humble before God. He kneels. Again, I've watched these movies. My brother and I watched these movies a lot growing up. My brother's a huge Indy fan as well. Can I reach it? So my brother and I, again, he's a huge movie buff. He's seen like 8,000 movies, like not an exaggeration. His letterboxd is crazy. We always give each other like cool gifts for Christmas. So one year he gave me the headpiece to the Staff of Ra. And then I think it was a couple years ago, he gave me the Holy Grail. It is this amazing, it's very heavy replica of, it is the cup of a carpenter. It is the cup of Christ. So, and I gave him, you can find it on, I think you can find it on Amazon. There's a Grail diary, which may be the gift that I gave him, that one of the gifts I gave him that he appreciates. It's super, super cool because it looks exactly like Dr. Jones' Grail diary from Last Crusade. So if you are an Indy fan or you know somebody who's an Indy fan, it's a very cool gift and they're not crazy expensive. When Jungle Cruise would break down, we'd say, we have top men working on it. Who? Top men. Nice, Kevin Lively. So again, top 10 reasons why I love Kevin. Kevin, we have to do another show together. Hit me up, man. If you don't keep reminding me, I'm going to keep forgetting just because I'm all over the place. So the first 20 minutes of Dial of Destiny was great. You know what? I will, Vero Mikes, before I fall asleep tonight, because by the time I end up going to sleep, I'm so exhausted. I don't watch TV for a long time. I will put on Dial of Destiny. I will put on the first half hour of Dial of Destiny, and I will see if your statement rings true. Jonathan said I did a test track preview today. Lou and most of the community are going to love it. Oh, Jonathan, that's super cool, man. That is very cool. I'm excited to see. I know nothing about what the new test track is going to look, feel, and sound like, so I can't wait to see it. 1941 game and a Gold Wings pinball machine. Can you guess the theme we're going for? I can. I see sort of the aviation thing. There used to be a really cool video game called 1941. Is that what you're talking about? Do you have the 1941 video game? It's the top-down, like 1941 warplane. It was like a front and back scroller as opposed to like a side scroller like Defender. I need to find an arcade. Now you're getting me all like in the, give me that $20 roll of quarters and just give me a few hours in an arcade. And I remember growing up in New Jersey, Woodbridge Center Mall had an arcade in it called Spaceport. And I spent many, and I can see it like it was right in front of me. This dark blue, like everything in there was blue and dark blue. And I spent, instead of walking around and like trying to meet girls like everybody else my age, I was in the arcade by myself playing video games, but it's fine. It's fine. Middle name starts with an A. My middle name? Is that what you're wondering? My, I'm sure it's very, if you're talking about me, it's very easy to find what my middle name is. All right, let me quickly scroll on. Maybe your middle name? But it could be more Italian. I try Kevin Lively's middle name. I say I'm obviously have missed a lot as I'm scrolling through. Brian Dennis, it is good to see you, man. Long time. Brian Dennis, you and I too need to grab a coffee or lunch one of these days. Yeah, Dan Boyle, this is one of the coolest things that my brother has given me. Very, very like screen accurate, even in terms of like, I don't know if you can see like the little black scratches on the side and the headpiece to the Staff of Ra. Both sides are different because they're digging in the wrong place. Bad dates. But I also gave him a Shankara stone. I might have talked about this last week. I gave him a Shankara stone. And I think he was disappointed that I didn't give him 3 because he's like, well, it lights up. He's like, it shouldn't light up unless I have all 3. So I have to give him the other 2 this Christmas. The Holy Grail. We've been looking for that everywhere. We've all been looking for the Holy Grail. I mean, this is not, but it is a nice. And no, I have not drank out of it before. Not that I think it'll give me eternal life, but let me see. Canada Villains Land, Canada Rick Moranis movie in. So I do miss the shooting arcade in Frontierland. I get the idea of wanting to give Disney Vacation Club members, privileges for being members, but I missed the simplicity and the nostalgia of the shooting arcade. Like I look forward to not, there was something comforting about the sound that it made as you walked by. I didn't need to go and play it every time, but there was something about the sound that I found very, very comforting. And when I go back to Disneyland in a couple of weeks, it's one of the things that I'm looking forward to hearing as I run by it in order to get my chimichanga from the little stand by the riverboat. So, because they just taste better in Frontierland. Yeah, the real 1980. Yeah. Betsy Park, I'm not inviting myself over your house, but I'm inviting myself over your house because I wanted to see your video games, and I'm sure you probably, considering how much you love food, we can order something in. It's fine. You don't have to make many things. So, all right, a couple more. Don't take the Grail past the seal. Yeah, and that's what. So we did. If you listened, did you enjoy the Star Wars movie museum episode? Because maybe we can do another one, but for like other Disney movies, other Disney live action movies. Well, we'll do, because we can do one for Marvel too. So maybe we'll do, yeah. Okay. Maybe that's it. Maybe I'll put out into the nation, folks who are huge movie buffs. I'll invite one or two to join me, and we'll do an episode on. Somebody just can you send me an email reminding me to post this in the nation? We'll do our Disney movie memorabilia museum and the items from Disney movies or whatever is under the Disney umbrella at this point that we would love to have in our personal museum, because now I'm starting to think that there's something that I might want, because I like the religious significance as a Catholic. I like the religious significance of the cup of Christ as well. So you're always welcome. We have an entire wing and a prayer pub. Oh God, yeah, we have to, and we have to eat again too. Not even just to record. We have to get together and eat again too. I so very much enjoyed that. So, but I do need to move on because the world still spins. I've got to finish this thing by tonight, and I've got to work on this other thing that's right over there for tomorrow. I am spinning a lot of plates as I get ready. I'm moderating a panel and doing a networking thing on Friday for the Public Racing Society of America in Florida. And then we've got some events this weekend. And then next week, I've got a bunch of stuff before I leave on our Adventures by Disney and some other adventures that I'm going to share with you that once it's all locked in, I'll be able to take you with me. And we will just leave it at that. I'm not going to go through the whole thing with all of this stuff at the end of the show, but just a couple of reminders. Thanks as always to Mousefan Travel, my official and recommended travel partner wherever you're going, whether you're coming with us on a future adventure or making adventures of your own. Visit mousefantravel.com. Becky's not even here, so they are amazing, and I love and appreciate them. Be sure and check out our events page too. Not the Dial of Destiny, but the Disney Destiny. We have a group cruise February 9th through the 14th, 2026. We have some other adventures going up, so be sure and check out the events page over at www.radio.com/events, including our next meet of the month, which I will desperately try and sneak in next month. To all the members of the Nation family, thank you very much for all that you do to help keep the lights on. And I think, is that it? I think that's it. Oh, don't forget about my Momentum Weekend Workshop this October. We now have, I think it's 14 tickets left. There is still an early bird special going on. If you have any interest in coming, if there's anything I can do to help make that happen for you, please reach out and let me know. And if you know somebody that wants to turn what they love into what they do, Momentum Weekend Workshop is now 4 days this October in Walt Disney World. And obviously, if you're also looking for a speaker for your event, conference, brand, or business, visit LouMongello.com. And again, please feel free to share that out. And if you maybe aren't ready for Momentum, you also can sign up for my email mini course to help you launch your dream business. It's just $7, delivered to you over 5 days via email. And I even have a freebie. If you go to LouMongello.com/mindset-mastery, it will help you sort of take those very first steps. Look, I want you all to feel the same way I do about what I do every single day and live the life that you love and that makes you happy each and every day. I love and appreciate you. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you for being here and for being part of this incredible WW Radio family. From hearts. I don't know how to make these things happen. Whatever. It's supposed to be fireworks. Now I just look like an idiot, waving my hands in the air, like I just don't care. And I don't. It doesn't matter. So thank you again, and I will see you again soon.